What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I've got I bet you guessed it, it's another Chelsea transfer news video for you guys, which seems to be the only videos I'm able to make at the moment. I have been trying to get out a keep sell loan video for you and a few others, but at the moment there's just new stories every single day that I need to cover, and today is no different. We've got our first ridiculous story of the window so far, and probably the biggest, with The Athletic reporting that Man City have added Reece James to their transfer wish list that includes Harry Kane and Jack Grealish this summer. I think this is probably a bigger story than the constant Hakimi reports that we've seen throughout the window so far, with this report just coming out of absolutely nowhere, and I think it's pretty much shocked everyone. The second story I'm going to talk about is also related to another Chelsea youth product, but this one actually might have some legs to it, unlike the Reece James story, with Aston Villa reportedly ready to make an offer for Tammy Abraham, as Thomas Tuchel doesn't see him in his long-term plans, and has apparently told him he's free to leave the club. We've got a lot to cover, so let's jump straight into it. Now, the first story I'm going to talk about today is Reece James's proposed move to Manchester City, and boy does it seem like transfer silly season is coming into full effect, with Man City set to test Chelsea's resolve for the Champions League final hero Reece James. Now, I can see why Man City would want to make a move for Reece James, as they would essentially be getting a 2-for-1 deal. Not only would they be getting one of the best young right backs in the world, but they'd also be getting Raheem Sterling back, who's settled down. I think he's bought a house, and he's even taken up citizenship inside the back of Reece James's pocket after the Champions League final, which is pretty cool. And in fairness to Man City and Guardiola, I don't think they've signed enough wingbacks over the past few years. I mean, I can only think of Kyle Walker, Cancelo, Mendy, Zinchenko, Angelino. There's probably at least another 7 that I'm forgetting. And I think any team would really struggle with just those 5 options at wingback. So from that point of view, I can definitely see why they would be interested in bringing him in, just to add a 9th option at fullback for them. Now, all jokes aside, the strange thing about this story is that it is coming out from The Athletic, which is one of the most reliable sources, with them not normally publishing this gossipy waffle that shit papers like The Sun report on a daily basis. The Athletic article states that Guardiola is a huge admirer of the 21-year-old, and that his Premier League champions are interested in buying him. Now, Reece James's last appearance, and probably his best in a Chelsea shirt, did come against Man City in the Champions League final. And I've got no doubts that Guardiola was impressed by his performances in that victory, as he pocketed the shit out of Raheem Sterling for 90 minutes. It is believed that not only his impressive performance in the Champions League final, but also his versatility has caught the eye of Pep, with him able to fill in at centre-back and central midfield, as we've seen him do expertly for Chelsea this season. Reece James does have 4 years left on his contract, and Chelsea have apparently zero interest in selling him, which I'm sure is music to all Chelsea fans' ears. But this apparently hasn't deterred Man City, who believe they still have a chance due to Chelsea's pursuit of Inter Milan's Achraf Hakimi. And apparently this interest in Hakimi has sent the message out that Chelsea have some doubts over Reece James being a first-team regular and see him more as a squad player, which is genuinely laughable. I mean, how can anyone who's watched him over the past 2 or 3 seasons and see the improvements he's made have any doubts over his ability to become one of the best right backs in Europe? And even if we were to sign Hakimi, which is looking more and more unlikely, as it seems he's probably going to move to PSG over Chelsea, that move, as I've spoken about in the past, would not be as a replacement for Reece James. Thomas Tuchel would either use Reece James in one of the many other positions he could play, or Hakimi would come in and rotate with Reece James, just as Aspi and him have for the past 2 years, with both of them making 84 and 92 appearances over that period of time. And you think Man City and Pep Guardiola, of all teams, would know a thing or two about rotation, as they seem to have about 6 top-tier players in each position. And that still hasn't stopped them going around trying to splash the cash on Grealish, Kane, and Reece James, apparently. Now, based off these 3 rumoured transfer targets for Man City this window, it's obvious that they're targeting homegrown players, and I don't know if that's because they're close to hitting the homegrown quota that they have to for the Premier League, or if they're using this as a ploy to build a bigger English fan base. Insert empty hat joke here, as players like Grealish and Kane, who are adored by English fans, would help them in this department. But unlike both Kane and Grealish, who I could realistically see pushing for a move in search of trophies, Reece James has just won the biggest club trophy there is to win with his boyhood club where he's been since he was 8 or 9. He's also recently signed a new deal with us last year in January, which shows where he sees his long-term future and the faith that Chelsea rightly placed in him at the time. He is, however, one of the lowest earners at Chelsea, so I don't think it would be the worst idea to open up contract negotiations with him and to try to tie him down on a long-term contract and reward him with the wage increase that we all know he deserves since becoming an integral part of the first team. Now, my final thoughts on this move are that there's almost a 0% chance of this move ever happening, let alone this summer. Chelsea have no reason to sell. There's no need. Reece James has no reason to push for a move. He's part of a young, promising team who are on the up at the moment. And in my opinion, this is one step down from reporting that Man City are interested in Mason Mount. It's almost on that level. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that are interested in loads of our players, but that doesn't mean they have any chance in actually signing them. We aren't a selling club. We never have been. And if Man City think they can pull a Bayern Munich on us, then they must be tripping some serious nuts, because that ain't how Roman rolls. And this has got to be the biggest waffle job of a story I've seen in a little while. And as I said, there's no chance of this happening, so I wouldn't get too concerned or worked up about it, as I don't know where it's come from, but for me, this is just pure waffle. The last story I'm going to discuss in today's video is Aston Villa's reported pursuit of Chelsea striker Tammy Abraham. Now, I'll try to keep this one as short as possible so the video doesn't drag on for too long. But Aston Villa are reportedly ready to spend up to £40 million to sign the Chelsea striker this summer, as the 23-year-old is not seen in Tuchel or the club's long-term plans. Aston Villa manager Dean Smith reportedly wants to wrap up his side's transfer business as quickly as possible, and we've already seen this with them bringing in Emi Buendia, which I think is a sick signing. That guy is actually a baller. And as I said before, this move could have legs, as Tammy did spend the 18-19 season on loan at Villa Park, and in his time there he scored 25 goals in 37 games and helped them secure promotion to the Premier League. And since that promotion, Aston Villa have been splashing the cash. I think in the last 2 seasons, we are the only club to have outspent them in the Prem. So their owners obviously have huge ambitions for the club, and I think he'd be a great signing for them, as sad as it would be to see him leave. He remains hugely admired by the Villa fans and Dean Smith, and a move back could help him revive his career, which has stagnated a bit over the last 12 months after such a promising start for us. And despite falling out of favour this season, he did finish as our top goal scorer in all competitions with 12, which is fucking jokes. And the only problem I could see with this deal is that Villa only just signed Ollie Watkins last season for £34 million. And after such a promising first season for them, I don't know if Dean Smith would want to replace him in the squad. Obviously, competition is great and squad depth is needed, especially if they're pushing for top 6 this season. But we've seen what happened to Tammy for us this season after all our expensive additions, and I would just wonder if Villa would be concerned with repeating what we did with Watkins. It would be sad to see Tammy leave, but he would leave with our blessings, as he's clearly good enough to start for a top half Premier League club, and he just isn't going to get the game time while Tuchel is at the club. So even if he doesn't leave for Villa, I think a move away from the club is on the cards, and I think it's probably best for all parties involved. That's all I've got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments down below if you would sell Reece James. I seriously doubt there's any genuine Chelsea fans that think selling Reece James would be a good idea. And let me know what your thoughts are on the proposed Tammy deal as well. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like. And if you're new, subscribe to stay up to date with new videos. I'll try to come out with a few different ones, but at the moment, it's just constant Chelsea transfer news. So if there's ever a little break from that, I'll try to drop a few different videos. Thanks for watching.